Privacy is the ability of an individual to seclude himself, to seclude information about himself, and to express himself selectively. But privacy is lessened by the advent of all sorts of surveillance systems and new devices. This includes biometric systems, that is, technological systems that use information about a person or another biological organism to identify that person. In order to address this problem, developers of systems must carry out a Privacy Impact Assessment, or PIA. A PIA is a process which helps an organization to identify and reduce the privacy risks of a project. A PIA process for biometric systems includes 4 phases: a description of the context of the processing of personal data and its stakes, the identification of controls to comply with legal requirements and to address privacy risks, evaluate privacy risks in order to ensure that they are properly addressed, and decide whether the system complies with privacy principles and treats the risks, or review the preceding steps. The PARIS project has developed guidelines for PIAs for biometric systems. PARIS stands for Privacy Preserving Infrastructure for Surveillance. The guidelines and tools are based on the concept of SALT frameworks. SALT stands for socio, ethical, legal, technological. Here is how a biometric SALT framework is constructed. Multidisciplinary experts consisting of experts on ethics, legal experts, and technical experts create a wealth of knowledge called the Biometric SALT framework. It includes questionnaires to be used for PIAs, references to be used, for instance, a text on national obligations, and a consistent list of terms to be used in the questionnaires and references. The resulting biometric system, the SALT framework, is then used to generate the PIAA guidelines, which can be used during the requirement phase, during the development phase, during the deployment phase, and finally during the retirement phase of a biometric system. For instance, we have generated PIAA guidelines for French public biometric systems based on the French Data Protection Authority CNIL and PARIS expertise. It includes a wealth of more than 400 deliberations on biometric systems deployment requests and a PIA methodology. The PARIS project has developed a tool to create a PIAA questionnaire in order to edit a question. An interface is provided to edit questions and publish the resulting questionnaire. The result follows the logic of experts who created the questionnaire, for example, with 4 sections: context, control, risk, and decision. A question includes text and comments made by experts. For instance, here is a question concerning legitimacy. Do you satisfy the conditions for the collection of a valid consent? The result is an evaluation. It can contain the following conclusions. The biometric system envisaged presents a high impact on an individual's right to privacy and data protection. The system relies on a function of identification which involves the central storage of biometric information and presents more risks of further use for incompatible purposes. PARIS is a project that is partially funded by the European Commission under the Framework 7 program.